Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Nicole and this is Dusty Book Sniffers, and today we are here for my January book haul. It's a secondhand book haul. It's absolutely mammoth. So grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, and let's get into seeing what books I got. Well, good morning or good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and spending it with me while I prattle on about all the books that I got at the recent Lifeline Bookfest here in Brisbane. So in the month of January, my daughter and I toddled off down to Brisbane. Well, I toddled off down to Brisbane. She already lives down there. And we went to the Lifeline Bookfest. Now, for those that don't know what the Lifeline Bookfest is, it is a massive charity event where they sell books, games, DVDs, comics, all the things, collectible books and all that sort of stuff that come into their charity shops. And basically all that money goes back into Lifeline and helping to maintain their phone line and some other essential services that they have. Now, it's pretty much the only event that I go to where I will sink a ton of money into it because it's my way of giving back to them. As well. And I generally, if I've got some books and stuff to donate, I generally take them. This year we didn't do that because Savannah has been cashing them in to get books that she wants off her book list that she wants. She's got a list of all the books that she wants to get via classics and all that sort of stuff. So she's been using a lot of my unhaul to do that. And I'm happy for her to do that because I have access to those books as well. But anyway, we are going to be here for a little bit of a long video, but I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy it. I found a lot of treasures. I found a lot of classics. Now, a lot of time I go to these book fests and I don't come across too many classics, but this time I came across quite a number of classics that I've wanted to read. A couple of authors that I've been chasing, a couple of series that I wanted to finish out, a series that I didn't realize that I got a series until I got back home, and a few authors that I wanted to try. And I mean, what better way to try them than with, you know, a couple bucks for a book and all the rest of it. So all these books were $2.50. There's different sections throughout as well, and you'll see some of the footage that I've taken of us going and how busy and how big it is. And I'm only showing you one section. There was another couple of conference rooms that had like collectibles, so your really rare books and that they come across from deceased estates. There was a comic section as well. There was also some game section as well. And then there was also better quality books. So they're more on the newish side. So books that people just get rid of because they've read it once, they don't want it, they just get rid of it. I tend to stay out of there because those books start at $5 and then I'll end up running into like, yeah, yeah, is all I'm going to say. Like, it can get right up there. So I generally stick to the $2 section because I read a lot of backstitch, a lot of back catalogue. I was just talking about cross stitching before, so that's why I said backstitch. So, and there's a couple of things that I keep an eye out for of books that I've picked up from time to time, and that I'm just slowly collecting and all that sort of stuff. All right, so let's get into it. Now, in December, remember I got two of the first four of the VC Andrews Flower in the Attic series. Well, I was managed to get the next two. So now I have the four and I'm pretty keen to sit down and read these. I'm just going to slowly work through them. I don't even know if I'm going to talk about them on the channel, to be honest. They're just something that my best mate wants me to read. She's been on my backside to read these since I was about 17 years old. I'm now in my 50s. I figured it's a good time to do it, right? She will be happy. I can tell you, she will be happy that I'm reading them. They're not in the best condition, but I'm not even 100% sure that I'm going to like them. This is probably the only one. This looks like it's been read once and that's it. It is, I would like to get the matchy ones, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers, as they say. So I've got those four. I'm not going to go into great detail of these. I think most people have heard of Flowers in the Attic. No, it's pretty dark and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to have to stack them down here because there is a ton of them already knocking things over. Let me just pick that up. That's my water bottle. It's so huge. Yeah, so basically I just got what I could get and whatnot. So I got two from a bookstore, which I paid a little bit extra, but I got the last two for $2.50 each. So that's not too bad. So overall, the whole series I've paid $21 for. The next one I got is the first 5 books in the number one ladies detective agency. This is by Alexander McCall Smith. I have had one of his books, which I am actually using for the buzzwordathon that I'm using. And then I've seen all these, and these are super cute. So we've got, I believe that is book 1. The number one detective agency, and then I couldn't tell you which one's the next one. This one looks like book 2, And that, according to the inside cover, it is The Tears of a Giraffe, the most entertaining read of the year, says The Guardian. Book 3 is this one, which is Morally for the Beautiful Girls. And then we have book 4, which this actually has a number on the spine and the rest don't. I think there is 18 in this series altogether. So, yeah. And I love these covers. I think these covers are absolutely gorgeous. And then this one is a full cupboard of a life, which is a book 5. And that's all that's listed in there. So I thought, you know what, I've been wanting to get these. I've heard a lot of good things from my UK friends about this author and whatnot. So, and I've seen them there, and they were scattered along one rail, and I'm just like pulling them out, and then Savannah's pulling them out as well. We doubled up on a couple, so we put them back and whatnot. But I got the first 5, which is absolutely fantastic. It's busy as, and it's 7:30 in the morning. That's for the high quality books. We're heading down to the $2.50 books because that's where we want to be, and there's no queue down that way, so I'm happy to go down that way. Looking forward to seeing what they have on offer. The next one that I got now, if you've been around on Sprints for a while, this is quite comical. Okay, so back in December, I think it was, Coda and Leandra said that they were going to read Tanner French and In the Woods, and I'm like, yeah, I'll jump on that because, you know, I wouldn't mind reading that, new author to me and all that sort of stuff. I'm always down for, you know, a bit of a mystery thriller type thing and down for a new author. So I jumped onto their buddy read. Okay, so in December, I got In the Woods from the Secondhand bookshop, and I got the Searchers, I think it was. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's the one I got. And then I went to this, and I seen a Tanner French book, so I thought, oh, I'll pick that up because I want to try this author. And I've got a series on my channel where I do a taste test for an author, and then I'll give you my honest opinion. I usually try to read 2 or 3 books, and I thought that I didn't know anything about the author or anything, like didn't know what series it was. I just seen the author's name and grabbed it up, and I picked up 3 of her books. So I picked up The Likeness, Broken Harbour, and The Secret Place. Okay, now they've all got, like, I had a look on the back, and they all sort of have little different blurbs on them, but I did not put 2 and 2 together until I got home, and I was talking about In the Woods, and then I was going through the books, and I said, oh, I got some more Tanner French, and then I'm like, hang on a minute. I did a Goodreads search, and it turns out that I had the first 5. And then I'm like, oh, well, that's good. I've only got to get 1, which I think is Trespassers, I think it is, or Trespass. And I thought I've only got to get 1 more book, and that completes the series, because I was loving In the Woods, because by this stage I was reading it, and I was absolutely loving it, and knew that I was going to continue on with the series. So anyway, I'm on my bookshelf the other day, and I pulled out, because I've got some books, double stack books on some shelves on my TBR, and I moved them to see, because I was looking for the Buzzwordathon, and then lo and behold, here's the last book. So I have the whole series now for the Dublin Murder Squad is the series. So I'm pretty excited about that. I don't have to buy any of the books. I've not paid a lot for them. I think all up, I got these, the other 2 I got at $8, $5 each or $8 each, and then the one that was on my shelf was out of a Book Grocer box, and then these were $2.50 each. So I got a whole series that would have cost me, the cheapest I could find it on Amazon for the whole series was 60 Australian dollars. And so yeah, because Chrissy was also looking to read In the Woods as well. So it was just, yeah, it was meant to be for me to read that series, I do believe. All right, the next one that I got was The Prisoner of Azkaban. I have 1 more book, which is the Half-Blood Prince, to get for the complete series. And I got these ones because I can mark them up and all that sort of stuff. We're doing this as a buddy read, and that started on the 1st of February. So I've got another one because I'm only buying them secondhand, and that's it, or using my library app to listen to them. The other one that I got that I've been wanting to read for so long, and this is now turned into a buddy read, and also being used for the Battle of the Girl Bands prompt for Georgia, is The Colour Purple by Alice Walker. So, I mean, most people already know of The Colour Purple because of the movies and all the rest of it, but I've never read the book. I only seen the original movie, which was back in 85, I think it was, with Whoopi Goldberg in it. Oprah was in it. Samuel L. Jackson was also in it, to name a few. So I've only seen that once. So I want to read this, and then in the beginning of March, I'm going to watch the original movie in anticipation for the new one that's coming out, which is a adaptation of the Broadway musical, I believe. according to all the people that have talked about this with me. So I am starting this in the next coming week. So hopefully I'm buddy reading it. So we're just going to take our time over the week, because I did actually say in that buddy read that I really wanted to take it a little bit slower and not race through the book. So that is one that is on my February TBR. So I can pop that back where it was. So we've been here a total of what, 10 minutes? Yeah, we're just in the classic section, and
we're not even on the we're on the second table.
Yeah,
we're on the second row.
We're on the second row. We're in the classic section because we're both very much in classics, and this is what we've got so far. The trolley's full already. So yeah, we're having a big spending day today by the looks of it. A couple of other authors that I always keep an eye out for is Daphne du Maurier. So I've got, and if you don't know who she is, you probably have heard of Rebecca. That is probably her most famous one. But I wanted to get a couple, like I just keep an eye out for them, and I grabbed them. So I got Daphne du Maurier, myself when young, The Shaping of a Writer. I believe this is a story of her early life. So I thought that that would be really interesting to read. So I grabbed that. And the other one was The Parasites that I got. And as I said, I'm not going to go into great detail on these because there are just too many to get through. I will tell you how many there are at the end. I could probably put a tally up, but I'm not going to do that. That's just way too much work. So this one, yeah, is another one that I grabbed to add to that. So Agatha Christie and Daphne du Maurier are ones that I'm trying to collect a lot of at the moment. So yeah, you'll probably see them as I find them. You'll see them on the channel. Another one that I grabbed as well, and Savannah actually found this. Now, I have a Charles Dickens one of this, and it has Oliver Twist, Nicholas Nickleby in it, A Christmas Carol, and I think that's it. No, there's usually three. No, there's usually three in it. So yeah, so that's what's in it. Oliver Twist, Nicholas Nickleby, and A Christmas Carol are in that. And that A Christmas Carol one, I've had that this for I couldn't tell you how long, because that's the main one that I have been reading for many years to my kids and all the rest of it. And this one is the Bronte sisters. So this one has Wuthering Heights, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, and Jane Eyre in it. Now, Wuthering Heights is not my favorite, but it is up there. That I did enjoy it. I thought it, like I was told it was a romance and all that. It's so not a romance. It's very much a toxic, dark relationship, very gothic in nature and all the rest of it. So this one has one from each of the sisters. So we have Emily, Anne, and Charlotte. So they come with gold splayed edges. They are usually laid out with pretty small font. The end papers are really pretty as well. And these are a treasury of world masterpieces. And it just has the Bronte sisters. So, and the Charles Dickens one looks exactly the same. So when Savannah seen it, she goes, oh, look, you've got this book. And I went, no, I don't, because that's the Bronte sisters. So we got this one. And I mean, $2.50 for 3 novels is absolutely amazing. So I now have that to sit there. I've got a shelf where I've got some older classics. So I've got the in the older style books. So I've got like The Godfather, I've got the Charles Dickens one. Now I have this one, and there's a couple of other ones that I've got. I think I've got the complete collection of Oscar Wilde, and there's a few other ones up there, and I've just got a shelf of those, and they sort of sit with my Folio Society books, like my fairy tale books and whatnot. All right. The next ones, I think I'm just going to pull them out, and hopefully they're in a bundle. The next one I'm going to talk about, though, is the Agatha Christie's that I got. These are a lot of these I did not have. A couple were in better condition than the ones that I had. So yeah, so I'm just going to quickly run through these. So we have the Siddiford Mysteries. We have the Bertman's Hotel, which is a better copy than what I've got. We have Nemesis. We have Five Little Pigs. I don't think I've got a copy of this. We have the ABC Murders, which is in better condition than mine. We have A Pocket Full of Rye, which is a different sort of edition, but I'm okay with that. We have The Mysterious Mr. Quinn, which I don't think I have. I also got Evil Under the Sun, which is a better condition. The spine is intact than my copy. Death in the Clouds. Parker Pen Investigates. We also All Deal by Innocence. I couldn't read then. We have They Came to Baghdad, and obviously someone smoked cigarettes. But I'm okay with that. The Hollow. The Mystery of the Blue Train. The Moving Finger. And One to Buckle My Shoe. Okay, so they are all of the Agatha Christie's that I got. There might be a couple more in there, but I tried to keep all these together. And as I said, there was a couple in there that I got because they were in better condition than what my copies were. So I now have those, and I'm setting myself a little challenge, which I'm going to be filming shortly, about Agatha Christie and what I'm going to do this year to read all of, well, not all of, but most of her, at least 26 of them. Okay, that should give you some idea. All right, I've also been looking for different copies of my favorite books. So The Shining is one of my favorite Stephen King books. So Carrie and The Shining are my two favorite from him. And I found this creepy ass one. So, and then Savannah was trying to take it from me. I'm like, no, you're not. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy I've got that. It's in pretty good condition. Like the pages are all intact as well. The cover is just a plain black cover, but this dust jacket, I just love it. The Shining is one of my favorite Stephen King books, so I've now got that. Some of these are things that I've been liking to collect and all the rest of it. I also got, I've been looking for some for Margaret Atwood. So I've been keeping an eye out for her. So I got The Handmaid's Tale, which I believe is science fiction. That's what I've been told. So I don't know if it is or not. I haven't really looked into it, but I want to read more of Margaret Atwood. I've heard that she's a really good writer, and I've not read a lot of her stuff. So this is also, I believe, is also on the Women's Prize for Fiction list as well. So I'm pretty glad that I've got that. So that is going onto my shelf. And I'm also getting a lot of these red vintage ones because these ones seem to be more readily available than the Penguin ones. I come across these all the time, and I cannot see anything wrong with them. I can't see that the font is wrong in them or anything like that. So I've been getting a few of these. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. That's cute. I like it when you see little things in books instead, like especially in the classic ones. So yeah, so I think this was originally published. Gee, she's got a lot of books. Like she has a lot of books. I got a long list to read from this author. So this one was first published in 1985. So this one might not have been on the maybe just another one that I've seen of hers on there. But yeah, so basically because the Women's Prize for Fiction's only been around for 28, 29 years. So yeah, so this one was in 85. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And it's in really good condition, as you can see. It's not damaged or anything like that. So I'm going to leave that there because I don't want it to get damaged. The other one that a couple other ones I got, I also got George Orwell's 1984. That is one that I'm going to read. I actually got a different copy, and Savannah swapped it out because she wanted the other copy, and she wouldn't leave it here. So yeah, I'll get her to bring it up and I can show you the difference between, but I'm happy with this one. I don't care. I just want to read the book. All right, what else have we got? I've also been looking for a bit of Virginia Woolf as well. So this is called Flush, a biography. It's just a little short book. I just want to read a little bit more of her stuff. Like I've read a little bit, just a couple of pages and stuff, and I just like the flow of her writing and whatnot. As I said, I haven't read a lot of the classic authors and stuff, so it's really a really good time for me to grab those sort of books and dive into them and not pay a lot for them, because some of these books, like, you can pay $20 for them still, even if they're only this big. So I got that one as well, and there's a couple more Virginia Woolf ones in here as well. I'm just pulling out some of the classics. Oh, I also got there's two more Agatha Christie's. I also got Death Comes at the End. And we also have Problem at Apollinsa Bay. I don't have a copy of this, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Let me pop that down there. Okay, so I also got another Alexander McCall Smith. That goes with the #1 Ladies Detective. This one is 44 Scotland Street. So I grabbed that as well. So I just want to do a nice little taste test of all of the authors. The next Virginia Woolf one I got is called Orlando. So I got that one as well. And as I said, I'm not going into great details of these because they will just take me forever. Then we come across the Penguin Classics, and they've come out in all different styles and all the rest of it. So I got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I do have a leather-bound one and other stories. So this has got other short stories in it. So this one will be good for me to mark up and whatnot. And then we also got by Thomas Hardy. We've got the Woodlanders as well. I haven't read Thomas Hardy yet. We have Stendhal. Love. I love this cover. I don't know what it is about that cover, but I just really like it. It's like she's got a little bit of sassiness in it. And also we've got Gustave Flambert, I think is how you pronounce Madame Bovary. So that is another one that I got in the classics. There is a lot of classics in here, so a lot of them you might not be interested in, but you will hear about them over the course of time because I will be reading them. All right, I am slowly getting enclosed in by books. Another series that I've wanted to read is hang on, there is one more book. Just hold, please hold. Okay, so the next series that I have is Anne Rice, and that is the Queen of the Damned. Or it's actually Interview with a Vampire. Then I'm pretty sure it's Queen of the Damned, and then it's Vampire Lestat. So I got all of those. This is not the Interview of a Vampire that I originally had. You would have seen the book haul that I had and seen the other copy. She beat me down into submission to give, so because these match, she said, look, they're matchy you have to take it. So she got the original copy that I had, which had the red writing on the front and all the rest of it. I actually didn't care. I was just basically holding it. She was always going to get it anyway, but anyway, she gave me her copy, so this is a brand new one. And so I got a couple more in that series to complete that. And I also got Mem Knock Never Wants to Come Out, The Devil by Anne Rice as well. Now, another really good friend of mine has been on my backside to read these since my early 20s, mid-20s, something along those lines, to read those. And yeah, I finally decided to do it. All right, so let's have a look at some of the hardcovers that I got in the classics as well. And a few other ones. Let me just pull these out. Okay, so I've been, like as I said, collecting classics and all that sort of stuff. Now, I know that there's a double ups in these and all the rest of it, but I grabbed them just for the collectability of them because I do like these books. I do reread them, and it'd be nice to just go and select different editions of it when I do decide to reread them. So I know it's weird. Some people think it's really weird. My husband is one of them. But the one I have been collecting a lot of, and few and far between finding different ones, is Anne of Green Gables. Now, this one was reprint. This one is a reprint from 1955. It is a hardcover. It's got Anne and a lamp on the front of it, so you can see there. And basically, we've got some beautiful end papers in the back, and then each chapter, there is a little bit of damage to the pages and all the rest of it, but it's only going to be me and Savannah that even touch this. So I'm just trying to find a chapter. Each chapter has like little line drawings. Some of them are in green and some of them are in black and white. So not every chapter has it, but most chapters do. So they've got little drawings and all that sort of stuff. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and clean this up a little bit. I don't want to get too much moisture or anything near it, but I'm going to try and get an eraser. Sometimes that can clean off some of the dirt and all the rest of it. It's magic eraser. When I go to do it, I will show you what I use and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes it brings it up clean, sometimes it doesn't. And most of this marking on this is just grime from hands and that touching. This one, it looks like it has been well read. It has got a little bit of water damage in it, but as I said, it's very minimal, and it's only going to be Savannah and I that are touching this book. And just towards the back, some of the pages have been creased a little bit, and there's one of the green ones as well. So yeah, I've got a copy of that, which I'm pretty happy about. I also got this really cool copy of Wuthering Heights. Again, this one looks like it was published in the 1970s. Just looking at the cover, it'd be late 60s, early 70s, and I'm trying to get the page to separate, and let's see if I'm right. Oh, actually, no. Interesting. This one was actually published in, oh no, first published in 1847. This is 1981. There you go. Sorry. I'm like, oh, okay, that's different. I've never seen that. Misread that then. I thought it was 1947, but it wasn't. It's 1981. No, it's pretty much just text. There's not much room for anything else, but it's in really good condition. I would say, I would go as far as to say that this is sat on Lauren's shelf since she got it. The spine is in really good condition. Even the plastic coating that is over the top is not even damaged. You know how sometimes it bubbles up and all the rest of it. But I just loved it and I had to have it. And I went to put it back and Savannah goes, "Are you sure, Mum?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." She goes, so we just put it in there. So we've got that one. Okay, so the next one that I got is the Pickwick Papers. This I thought was a very cute copy. It's just a dust jacket. The inside is just very plain. The outside is also very plain, although a very nice color. The spine is just very simplistic. But I got this one because I love the Pickwick Papers. I thought that was a really good book. I do have it in another book, but it was a book that I got from Amazon. It cost me like $11 and it's printed terribly. Like the formatting is all off and all that sort of stuff. And basically, I don't really like it. It is definitely a book that I don't even think I will pass it on, to be honest, because I don't think anybody's going to enjoy reading that. Like, it's still great and you can read it and whatnot, but it's just not formatted really well. This has 796 pages in it. I think the original one was like 801. The font in this is fairly small, as you could imagine. It's got some of his timeline and all that sort of stuff. And as you can see, the font is pretty small, but that is okay because I actually listen to my classics with an audio, so it makes a big difference. So I was pretty happy with this edition here, so I'm going to leave that there because I don't want it to be damaged. I also got some George Eliot as well. I got a couple of hers. Let me just see. There's the other one. So I did get a couple of hers. I probably actually got more than I think. So yeah, I will have to check that as we go. We'll probably come across that. So I got Mill on the Floss. I have not read this. Or have I read this? No. Silas Marner is the one that I've read. I have not read this, and I like this copy because of the cover. It was very similar to the Wuthering Heights one. This actually has like some illustrations in it as well, and I do love it when they've got illustrations in it. So at the beginning of the chapters and at the end of the chapters as well, there is also some pictures. So you've got some pictures here as well at the end of the chapters. So I'm pretty happy with that. I have not read this one. I did start it, but I haven't finished it. I think I've only read the first chapter, so you might as well say I haven't read it. And that was a very long time ago. So I'm really looking forward to picking this one up. It may even be one that will be picked up. And this was given to Lee in 1977. So it was given to Lee for passing grade 4 RAD exam in 1977 with love, Mum, Dad, and Kim. So yeah, and this is for Classics for Today is the publisher. And yeah, so there you go. So this is from 1977. I mean, I just love the books from then. Like, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of nostalgia for me. I don't know. All right. The other one I got is Romola. We got that as well. I did not find this one. Savannah found this one. This one was published, originally published in 1907. And this one is from 1999. So yeah. I had a sticker on it, obviously. But yeah, it doesn't even look like, I think it's just been read a couple of times and then that's it. But it is in pretty good condition. The other one I got was Homer, the Odyssey. I got that. And I got another edition of Little Women, which is it's very plain. It's got a bit of covering on it. It came from the Children's Free Library. Gordon Mutual Friendship Club, and I'm pretty sure Gordon's it's in New South Wales. So, but I love the picture that was in the front. That was absolutely gorgeous. I don't think it had any other pictures in it, as far as I'm aware. There's no end papers or anything like that. It's got a little bit of damage and whatnot, but I only have one copy of this, so I thought that this was a nice little one that I can, sit down and read and just, the books have got a story. I know it's weird, but yeah. The books have got a story, and I like to be able to pull a different one off. And I told you about Homer and Odyssey. I got that as well. All right, so let me just have a look. We're moving into the territory of vintage ones now. I got Diary of Anne Frank. I started reading that at school and never finished it. So I'm going to finish it. Whether it'll stay on my shelf, I don't know. But I did start reading this at school and never finished it. So I think 40 years later, it's about time I finished it. So I got that. As I said, $2.50, can't go wrong, really. Now I got this one Savannah picked up. She goes, I just want this because I like it. She had run out of money, so this is why she was now spending my money. She goes, I really like it. So it's got the splayed edges, and whatnot. But I did a little bit of research on this one. This one's on The Night of the Seventh Moon by Victoria Holt. This woman has a ton of books. I've never even, I think I've heard of her, but I'm not 100% sure. You know, when you think you've heard of someone, but you're just not sure. This one just sounded really, really interesting. So, this is probably the only one I'm going to tell you what it's about. So, what really happened to 19-year-old Helena on the night of the seventh moon, when, according to local legend, the mischievous god Loki roamed through the German forest? 6 days of her life was lost to lost to her. That was what those about her tried to make her believe. But during those 6 days, she had experienced a great adventure of her life in the company of a fascinating Maximilian, who had seemed like a hero of old. He had she been suffering from hallucinations, as her friends tried to tell her, or were they deliberately deceiving her? Several years later, still tormented by the memories, Helena returns to Scholars, in the forest, determined to find again the magnificent Maximilian and solve the mystery of those lost 6 days. She soon discovers, though, that she is the central figure of a world of intrigue, drama, and the events of which build up to a thrilling climax. And it sounds like a really good book. And I'm like, you know what? I'll get that anyway, because I was going to put it back. It was first published in 1973, so it's probably going to have lots and lots of problematic language and stuff in it, but you know, you never know. And this was originally done by Companion Book Club. It is a club. The club is not a library. All books are the property of the members. There is no entrance fee or payment beyond the low club price. So it must have been like a book club, the male book club and all the rest of it. And if you had any problems, you wrote to DY, a place in New South Wales called DY. But it's in really good condition. And yeah, I thought the cover was quite nice as well. Because a lot of time you pick up these covers and they're abridged versions of the book and whatnot, but this was actually a full copy of it. So nice to be meeting a new author, so to speak. All right, what else have we got? Okay, now there was just a few books that I've heard about, just, you know, being around Booktube and all the rest of it. Let me just have a look. What we've got here. I did get a lot of one particular author. Let me just get through this. These are ones that I had heard of, and all I wanted a copy of because I didn't have a physical copy. Okay, so as I said, I have seen books around, like I've been looking at books on Amazon and stuff like that, and I had some books on my shelf, well, I guess my wish list, or your shelf, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, Savannah found this one for me, Little Paris Bookshop, and I said to her, grab it, because another lady was looking at it, and I'm like, can you grab it, please? I said, because that is actually on my wish list. I've wanted to read this for a while. It's I guess it's a historical fiction, and this one is set in Paris, obviously. So I'm looking forward. I've had them sitting on my shelf. There's another one as well. I can't think of the title off the top of my head, but that's been sitting on my wish list for a while. So I've got that. So I've got to update my wish list, which is great. So The Dressmaker is also another one that I've wanted to read for a while. And then Jean and I seem to be quite aligned with, Jean is a viewer of the of sprints. You've probably seen her around heaps. Every week she turns up in my sprints, and she was reading The Memory Keeper's Daughter not too long ago, and she said that she was enjoying it, and a lot of our tastes seem to align for books and whatnot. So I thought, well, $2.50, I can give it a try. And I read where is it? Where did it go? I just had it. Where is it? I read The Kite Runner at the beginning of last year, and I don't have a physical copy of this. And I also read A Thousand Splendid Suns as well. I do have a copy of that on my shelf. I got that at another bookstore. So now I've got both of them by this author, which is Khaled Hosseini. So yeah, so I'm really happy, and I probably will pick this up and read it again in the next couple of months. I really enjoyed it. Again, I read through it too quickly, and that's another reason why that I want to slow my reading down. So I'm glad that I now have both of those books. And just under the same vein, this one was Born Under a Million Shadows, Fighting for Love in the Shadow of the Taliban. So most of these books are set around when the Taliban has either taken over or Russia has invaded Baghdad. And this one was originally $8, but I got it for $2.50. And so it's by Andra Bushfield, and I've not heard of her before. In the short life of 11-year-old Fahad has known more grief than most. His father and brother have been killed. His sister has been abducted, and his mother, Mira, must rely on charity of family to eke out a hand-to-mouth existence. But despite their struggles, Farad's love for life never fails, and it just goes on from there. So it sounds like another one of those heart-wrenching stories. But I really like reading a lot of that stuff from around that era, when Russia, before and during and after Russia invaded, and how much their lives actually changed and stuff like that. It's quite very, very, very interesting topic. So I thought, oh, well, I'll grab that. That sounded really good. I can put these ones down now because I've talked about those. We of the Never Never, an Australian classic. I haven't read too many Australian classics. In 1902, newly married Jeannie Gunn left the security and comfort of her Melbourne home and travelled to the depths of the Northern Territory, where her husband was appointed the manager of the Elsie, a large cattle station. And so yeah, so I want to read more Australian classics. Savannah and I did have a discussion about it. Like, I've seen a lot of the movies that have been adapted from books like this and whatnot. And while they're okay, they're not the best. I just want to see if the books are any better, and what we consider to be our classic. So We of the Never Never is classed as that. Picnic at Hanging Rock is another one that is classed as a classic as well. And I'm sure there are many other books, but I am just so uneducated when it comes to Australian classics. That's why I thought this one is probably going to be a good place to start. Yeah, and it's not an overly long book either. I think it's only got 250 pages in it. So I thought it'd be a good place to start. And as you know, last year I was trying to incorporate more Australian authors. So what better way to continue that on by adding a few classics in as well. All right. And then I have been trying to collect books for the Women's Prize for Fiction, and also looking for authors' other books apart from those if I can't find them, but seeing what their other books are. Now, they've made it onto a prize. I love the Women's Prize for Fiction. I think that it's a great one to support. It's really the only list that I focus on. There are many out there, and there are many, many, many people that I talk to that do all the different lists and stuff like that. But my primary focus is just the Women's Prize for Fiction. I've been asked many times, am I doing any other ones? I haven't done any of the Australian lists. I did look this year though, and I wasn't really drawn into any of the books and whatnot, but for the most part, at the Women's Prize for Fiction, I've enjoyed many of the books off that list, and off the short list and all that sort of stuff as well from previous years. So Amy Tan was one that was in the early list. So back in 28 years ago, when the list came about, she was actually on the list, the short list. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember the name of the book, but I did see her that she had a couple out there. And we've got the Kitchen's God's Wife, and we also have the Joy Luck Club. So the Joy Luck Club, I talked about this on Sprints, and this is actually going to be a buddy read a little bit later on in the year. I think around mid-year we're going to be reading it. I believe Jean is actually joining us for this one, and Coda and I are going to be reading it. And I guess you're probably seeing a bit of a theme. Coda and I seem to be permanent reading buddies, which is great because we are comfortable with one another to read each other's suggestions and all that sort of stuff. So it's great, and we're pushing each other to read more books and get a lot of series done and all that sort of stuff as well. So that's really exciting when you find someone that you just connect with. All right, the next two are books that my daughter actually recommend that I get. Haku Makara, I don't know how to say that, but Norwegian Wood. This apparently is a Japanese classic. She said to me, she said it's one that you should read. I don't know anything about it. I'm going into it totally blind. It was first published in 2001. Sorry, 1987. And this edition was published in 2001. So, yeah, so basically, falling in love in the 1960s Tokyo with love with complications is the little blurb. And I'm going to leave it at that because I want to go into it blind. I've read a couple of Japanese love stories and stuff like that, and I do like them. They're so immersive, like they're so atmospheric and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that this one will be as well. And then the other one that she recommended that I read, and this was a recommendation from a friend, and she's pretty excited to read. She's actually got this on her shelf, and I think we might be buddy reading this together. So I'm not too sure. The conversation changed very, like, we're like, flies flitting around here, there, and everywhere, trying to see all the books and all the rest of it. Conversations get very disjointed. So this is from a gal. I'm not going to even try. But anyway, Soul Mountain. This was originally $24.95. This was the winner of 2000 Nobel Prize for Literature. So some pretty high praises there. Is best known for Soul Mountain, an elegant, unforgettable, courageous novel, a journey deep into the heart of modern day China. So yeah, so it's also been on the Booker Prize, Pulitzer Prize, the the Goncourt prize as well. So it done its rounds and all that sort of stuff. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. But it was recommended to Savannah. I don't think she's actually read it yet, but it was recommended to her by a really good friend that's given her really good recommendations in the past. So we've seen it and she goes, "Well, grab it and then we can read it together." So that's something that we can do. All right. I promise we are getting there. All right, the next collection of books that I am getting right now, and this is basically the alphabet, okay, is the Sue Crafton books. So these are getting harder and hard to find. I have several of them on my shelf, and I do have a list on my phone with all the ones that I have. And I did not double up on anything because sometimes you can forget to cross your stuff off. So I ended up getting, what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. So I ended up getting C is for corpse, D is for deadbeat. I love the names, I love the titles. This is O is for outlaw, and they're all in different sizes. V is for vengeance, and they only go up to the letter Y because she died before she can finish the series. W is for wasted, T is for trespass, and P is for peril. So I got all those. I'm pretty happy with that. Let me just get these down here. Straining my arm. All right. So that is more adding to a series. As I said, I am trying to complete some series. I couldn't go past Sleepy Hollow. This is one of my favorite movies. And this is what do they call it? A novelization of the movie. So yeah, so I thought I'll grab that, and it's got, little pictures. Look how young he was in this. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it's got that one picture in it. I think that's all it's in it, but it's written just like a novel and all the rest of it. I don't mind a novelization of a movie, but yeah, so I thought I'd give that a read. And the other one that is going to be a group read is the Scarlet Letter. We're also going to do that as well because a few of us were talking about it on Sprints. I love these covers. There is a whole series of them. The covers are gorgeous. So I've not got a copy of this, but there is Romeo and Juliet, Wuthering Heights, Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Jane Eyre, Emma, Persuasion, and A Midsummer Night's Dreams are all in these. So the only one that I probably wouldn't get is Emma because I just don't like that book. So yeah, but all the rest I definitely would get the Jane Eyre one because I collect those as well. So yeah, and also like retellings of Jane Eyre and everything as well. So I don't know when these were published. I'm just trying to find it. I think the page might actually be me. Oh, here it is. So these were printed by Harper Teen, is an imprint of HarperCollins publisher. And the Scarlet Letter, this one, was published in 2011. The original was published in 1850. So yeah, so it's the Harper Teen one. So if you see any of these, send me the link because I'd like to get these copies. I think they're absolutely beautiful. And Savannah's on the hunt for them as well because she wants them on her shelf. So yeah. All right, let's get into the rest of the classics that I got. All right, so there is a ton of them. Most of these are probably people that you've heard of before, people that you may not have heard of before. There's a few different styles of classic books that I got. I am, as I said, getting the vintage ones as well. So as I said, I'm also collecting some of the Virginia Woolf ones. I got a couple of just random ones. I thought that they would be good to get as well. And Charles Dickens is also one of my favorite authors as well. So I don't have all his books, but I have read them on Kindle or audio and stuff like that. Not all of them though. I'm slowly but surely getting through them. Now let me just make sure that I have got all the classics that I think I have. I can see the bottom of the thing. So we are getting there. We're getting there, people. Just get all these out. The other one, I got another Rob book as well. So that was a Judgment in Death. So that was the only one I've seen. Normally you see heaps of these books. That was the only one I've seen in the whole haul. It was amazing. And again, as I said, I've been collecting the Alexander Smith McCall. And this is another one. I don't know what this one's from. This is the Isabel Dalhousie series. So and that's the other one I've got on my shelf. So I sort of have enough of an idea about who they are and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. All right. Okay. Here we go. All right. So I got another George Eliot one. This is Silas Marner because the only Silas Marner one that I have is on Kindle. And this one I will be able to take notes and mark up and all that sort of stuff. It has also got pictures in it and whatnot. I absolutely adored this story when I read it. I thought it was such a sweet story. It was so heartwarming, and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, he basically he takes in a young girl, and it's their story and all that sort of stuff that I'm not going to go into great details. So if you can hear lots of banging, that is because my husband is out the front loading a car. So I do apologize. But Silas Marner, I got this one. It's only a small book. So yeah, because the one that I have is a children's classic, and I don't want to mark that up or handle it too much or anything. I've had them for many, many years, and they're in really good condition. So I don't want to fiddle around with them too much. And a lot of time when I'm reading these books, I don't mind sitting down and reading it once every now and again. But if I read it more than once or a couple of times a year, or I'm doing a little bit of an in-depth read on it, I'm going to be handling the book quite a bit, and I don't want to wreck it. So yeah. All right, so let's have a look what else I've got. I'm just going to try and put these in some sort of order because I do have. Okay, so I got a couple more of Charles Dickens books. I got Bleak House, which I didn't have. And then I didn't know that he had a short story collection and whatnot, but this is Charles Dickens select short stories. So I thought, you know what, I'll grab that and put that on my shelf. Somebody's luggage. He's leaving it till it's called for. A Christmas tree. So it's got, I just noticed that it's got a couple of little images and stuff in it. So we've got some images in there as well. Not too many though. There's only a couple. But this had apparently in his shorter fiction, I knew he had short stories, but I didn't know that there was a collection of them. Like you could just buy a collection. I just thought that you'd have to find them on the internet and all the rest of it. I don't really search out very much until I sort of come across it, and then it twigs me to check that out. So I've got that. Along with Bleak House and Pickwick Papers. So I've got all those editions now. And then I also got Great Expectations because this is a book that I don't have on my shelf. And you know what? I really don't like these edges feel like really rough. What do they call them? I can't remember now, but yeah, Great Expectations is one that I've wanted to read for a while, and I don't have it on my shelf, so I've grabbed that. It's just a generic one, but I'm pretty darn happy with what I got. I got another A Room of One's Own and Three Guineas from Virginia Woolf. I also got Dangerous Liaisons, which the title is in French, but the book is in English. So that would, because Savannah said, she goes, "Can you read French?" I'm like, "No, the book is in English." So Dangerous Liaisons. D.H. Lawrence is one that I'm tackling this year, and I got The Rainbow. And then I've wanted to read this by Sir Walter Scott, Rob Roy. I've wanted to read this for years and I've never got to it. I think Mel Gibson was in the movie adaptation of it, but I ended up getting it. This one doesn't even look like it's ever been opened, to be honest. So I got Rob Roy. And this one is set in, it's a magnificent historical romance. Rob Roy is set against the background of the 1715 Jacobite Rising. So around the same time as the Outlander series is depicted in. If you don't know what that is, you probably know what Outlander is. So yeah, so I got those ones, so I'm pretty happy with those. I'm going to start putting them back in here now. And then I see this one as well. Now I love myths and legends and all that sort of stuff, and this one was a sort of a last minute grab at it as I was walking out. I went, "Oh, was that Irish?" And it was Irish Myths and Legends by Michael Scott. So I love reading about these sort of mythical legends and all that sort of stuff. They're quite fascinating and all that sort of, you know, like you get right into the story and it sends you down a bit of a rabbit hole. So I was pretty happy to grab that. Not a classic, but still, you know, folklore and all that sort of stuff. All right. Then I also got Ulysses by James Joyce. This is one that I want to tackle, not this year though. The top shop is the bookmark. So, yeah. So Ulysses, I can't even read the back because the back is, or the front is pretty faded. I can't read what that is. But this one is one that has been on my radar for a while. And you probably noticed that some of these books are also on the 1001 books to read before you die list as well. So that's why I have been getting some of these as well, because I'm slowly ticking those off as well. I also got The Witching Hour by Anne Rice as well. That was the one that I said I got another one. I couldn't remember what it was, but The Witching Hour was one. And this one has intrigued me for a while. Now, this is the complete trilogy of 1Q84. Apparently, this is supposed to be like 1984. I do not know. So I'm going to read 1984, then I'm going to read this one. And there is the three in this. It's the complete trilogy in this one. Sorry, my husband's just taken off again. So yeah, so I have seen this on people's bookshelves in their background for ages, and it just stands out to me. And then I managed to see a copy, which again stood out to me in the field of books. So I grabbed it. I'm like, obviously it's calling to me. I have no idea what it's about. The year is 1Q84. This is the real world. There is no doubt about that. But in this world, there are two moons in the sky. In this world, the fates of two people, Tango and Ame, I don't know how to pronounce that, but another character, are closely intertwined. They are each in their own way doing something very dangerous. And in this world, there seems no way to save them both. Something extraordinary is starting. So yeah, it's like I still have no idea what it's about, but anyway. So, but the 3 books are in there. So $2.50 for 3 books is not too bad. And as I said, this book has been staring at me from people's shelves on Booktube. And then it was staring at me at the Bookfest. All right. The next lot of, we're getting there, I promise. The next ones are all the red spine vintages that I want to collect. And so we have several of those. Let me just grab all of them. And I've got a couple more here that are not. So we've also got Elizabeth Gaskell, which is Cranford. I grabbed that. I really like Elizabeth Gaskell's writing. And we also have Arthur Ransom, Pigeon Post is another one. Savannah put this in. I have no idea what it's about. Can you imagine finding gold? This is just what swallows, Amazons, and Dick and Dorothea decided to hunt for in the hills above the lake. But it's a hot, dry summer, and water is scarce, and so forth and so on. So yeah, backstory, test your knowledge, and yeah, okay, about homing pigeons. Interesting. All right, I don't know where it's set. Judging by the outfit, I would say it is set. Doesn't even give me a timestamp for it either. But yeah, she read the back of it and she said you should read it. And I'm like, okay. She sometimes does that to me. This book belongs to you. Oh my God, I haven't seen that for years. This one was first published in 1936. This copy was published tiny little letters 2013. We've got lots of dates on this one. But this particular edition was published in 2013. Didn't think it looked like a 1988 cover. But yeah, so she said that she picked it up and she said, that sounds interesting. You should buy it. So it was obviously meant for her shelf, but she's just put it in my cart. So I paid for it. Nice, right? Nice. All right, let's have a look at all the vintage books. Oh, here we go. We got another one that was hiding. I also got Persuasion because I actually don't have that. I have a copy of that. So yeah, and I don't mind Persuasion as a book. So I grabbed that as well. So yeah, as I said, there's a couple that I didn't have. All right, now let me just have a show you what these look like. So these all have the red spines on them. Some are faded and some are not. All right, so I'm just going to go through these. Goodbye to Berlin. I've heard of that and I wanted to get it. We have The Great Gatsby. That was more for Savannah than it is for me because I already have a copy of it. We've got Captain Corelli's Mandolin as well. I'm not going into detail. All Quiet on the Western Front. I've heard that that is a really compelling book to read. Of course, I had To Kill a Mockingbird, but my daughter stole it and then wrote all through it, and I was a bit peeved. So yeah, so I got that. I also got this copy of Lady Chatterley's Lover because my other copy is the pages are a bit thin. I got that secondhand, and this was in a bit better condition, so I grabbed that one to replace it. And then we've got Tess of the Revels. I think this is how you pronounce it. We got that one there. We also have Sophie's Choice. I've heard that the movie is like rips your heart out, but the book is better, so I grabbed that. We have Gigi and the Cat, which is by Colette, and that is by William Stoyton is that is by. I'm not giving you any of the details of all the authors or anything. Henry James is What Maisie Knew, and then of course we've also got Virginia Woolf, another one, Mrs. Dalloway. Okay, so D.H. Lawrence is Lady Chatterley's. To Kill a Mockingbird is Harper Lee. Emma Marie Rancuyu is All Quiet on the Western Front. Captain Corelli's Mandolin is by Louis D. Bernice. Can't pronounce that. We already know that Scott Fitzgerald done The Great Gatsby. And the Christopher Isherwood is Goodbye to Berlin. And the others and we've got Thomas Hardy is the Tess of D'Urbervilles. All right, so they are all those ones. And then I also got the French mathematician as well. So some of the French classics I'm also reading through, and that was thanks to Maria from Read Fine Books. All right, so they are all the little red spine classics that I've got. They are, a lot of those are sort of this side of the 1900s. Some of them, you know, go back a little bit into the late 1800s, but most of them are on this side of the 1900s. So I've got plenty of the 1800s classics and all that sort of stuff on my shelves. So I'm starting to now come into the 1900s. All right, the next author I got. Now, I was introduced to this author in August of last year. Her name is Penny Fezenzi, sorry, and she is a prolific writer, and she writes some chunky books, okay? So I do have a couple, like I was looking for a couple of her books because I got No Angel, which was the first one. Which I have actually moved on because the rest of the series were all in really big books. So I moved on No Angel and I picked up this one. And so I've already read this one. Okay, but I will definitely go back to this one for sure because I'm not going to get to any of these. So I will definitely reread this one because I also have it on audio. But let me just bring up my phone and so I can tell you the series of these. So I will not send you on a bum steer. This woman, when she writes, I just like, she was writing about a publishing family and that were in England, and it was set around the Titanic, the time of the Titanic. And it was just such an amazing story. It just drew me in, and I was so engrossed in that story for 750 pages. And I read it during a readathon as well and finished it. So yeah, I was so amazed by her writing. And basically I was put onto it by Chrissy from Chrissy Stitches and Reads, and it was just, like, there was infidelity in there and all that sort of stuff, but like, you could see the reasoning behind it and all that sort of stuff, and how sheer loneliness and whatnot. It wasn't just they wanted someone else and they went off and did it. There was very much extenuating circumstances behind the infidelity and all that sort of stuff, and the ramifications from it as well. And there was a bit of a storyline with one of the young characters that went to live with the main family. She was from a poor family, and just the being in two worlds and all that sort of stuff. So it sort of starts it starts a little bit earlier than the Titanic, and then it goes into the early 20s. So we're spanning about a decade of this family. It's called the Spoils of Time series. And No Angel is the first one, and I'm just going to bring up the other ones because I did end up getting them. Now, the next one is called Something Dangerous. There it is. So this is the second book to it. I love the covers as well. So it's going to continue on. And then the next one is Into Temptation. So I'm assuming that there is still some infidelity happening and all that sort of stuff. And then that's the third book. So now I have all three. There's only three in the series. So I have all three. And then I can finish that series off. And I mean, these books are pretty huge. They're like a hardback. So I will probably, I don't know whether I'll end up keeping them or not. I'll see how I feel at the end of the series. But if I don't like them, I will just move them on. All right, some of the other books that I got from her are all standalone, as far as I believe. Now, so I got The Best of Times. Okay, so I'm just going off. So I've had No Angel, and this is The Best of Times. And these are all huge books. They were all huge, and it was amazing. They were all there. Like, we were just walking along. She has a lot of books, but I don't think I got all of them, but all of her backlist. But there was that one there. The next one after that is The Perfect Heritage, which I'm pretty sure I got that. I'm pretty sure that was in 2 volumes. No, did I not get that one? I don't think that was, maybe that was the one that I couldn't get. Yeah, no, that was the one I didn't have. And then I got Perfect Heritage. Oh, no, that was the one I was saying I couldn't get. Wrong one. Sheer Abandon. I have that one of hers as well. And then the next one I've got The More You Know. I think it's this one. No, I missed out on that one. An Absolute Scandal. I got that one. These are just standalone. These aren't part of a series or anything like that that I'm aware of. And I don't, like, at the end of the day, I paid $2.50 for them, so I'm okay with that. Let me just see. We have Wicked Pleasures, which is a smaller book but still chunky. We have The Decision. We have An Outrageous Affair. And then I have, in this one, there's 2 of her novels, which is Another Woman and Forbidden Places. So I am absolutely wrapped. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of her novels at $2.50 each. So 10 of her novels, which would have cost me anywhere from $25 to $30 for the sizes that they are, I have managed to pick them up for $25. So that would have cost me an absolute small fortune. So, and that, my friends, is the last book to pull out. So that is my giant haul. There was 116 in total. There was another Wuthering Heights. I didn't bother showing that. That was just a generic one, which was actually for Savannah. And so, yeah, so basically that wasn't actually mine. So, but I did purchase 116 books. I'm really happy with what I got because they are just great books that I can sink my teeth into. Some of them are huge, some of them are not so huge. All of Vicenti's books are huge, like every single one. Every single one. The woman knows how to write. She's a great storyteller. She has epilogues in them. She has prologues in them. She has all the things. But that is my video today. Thank you so much for joining me for this massive haul. I do have another new haul, a new book haul coming because all of my backlist stuff, I'm waiting on 2 more. So once they come in, that'll be from October through to whenever that next one comes in. But as I said, that is it for me today. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below. Have you read any of these books? I'm sure you have. And also, if you don't want to leave me a comment, just leave me a stack of books because let's face it, I've got a stack of books. And give me a thumbs up if you're not yet subscribed. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this and other great stuff as well. And as always, keep turning those pages, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.